Today's Tarotorial is going to cover the Knights of all four suits, the Cups, Swords, Pentacles, and Wands. And so the deck we're using is the influence of the angels. And angels are celestial beings that act as conduits between God and humankind. And how many of the stories have been passed down about them and how they're able to assist us in our physical reality, as well as the esoteric meanings and visual interpretations in this deck help us understand our physical experience and how we could better ourselves along with the process. There's many stories that are told throughout this deck, and I really, really love it. So I thought I would share the background of all these cards. I do a lot of readings with these cards, and so each one of these cards is representing somebody that has existed and had a major contribution to society. And so the first one we're going to cover is the Knight of Cups, okay? And the Knights in the Minor Arcana embody the confident establishment of oneself in the world, okay? So the one we're focusing on is John Dowland, who existed in 1563 until 1626, okay, and he's being portrayed as a young man. John Dowland was an English musician, composer, and lyricist. Some of his songs include Awake, Sweet Love, Fortune, My Foe, All Ye Whom Love, and Flow My Tears. His songs are deeply emotional. They often evoke a sense of sadness and at the same time a sense of beauty. Dowland was a professional lute player, but was most renowned for the many songbooks he published. Many of these were distributed throughout Europe. Many of his songs became best-selling hits of his day. And so let's look at the message that this card brings. Embrace your feelings with passion and gusto, but take care that they don't overwhelm you. Okay, so not letting your emotions get the best of you, right? And so the symbology here is the lute that it's holding. Dowland's instrument represents music and its capacity to move and affect human emotion. There's also a cup, a chalice of red wine. This is representing passion. There's an angel with the flute right behind him, which is representing music conveys emotion without using words. Dowland listens as the angel plays for him. This represents emotional communication and spiritual connection. So when you see the Knight of Cups, the direct meaning here is someone who's sensitive, someone who's in touch with their emotions, someone who's romantic, someone who is a poet, maybe someone who really is like in love with love, like idealizes love. Also the willingness to feel and show deep emotion to other people, honoring and fully accepting one's emotions, whether they're positive or negative. And sometimes if the Knight of Cups is in reverse, it could mean like over emotional, again, letting your emotions get the best of you and having it override like your logic, okay? As well as like maybe being temperamental or very moody or inconsistent with your emotions or manipulating emotions is another shadow aspect of the Knight of Cups. All right, so the next one we're going to be using as an example here is the Knight of Swords. And so let's talk a little bit about the swords. The swords represent the mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, the subconscious. It also represents communication. The mind can powerfully affect your emotions. And so some of the words that come to mind when we think about swords would be like turbulent thoughts, racing thoughts, overthinking, as well as like sharp, breezy, oppressive, floating, cutting, blunt, and how, you know, swords is also the root word there is words, and how words can affect other people. Words can affect how we take action on things, whether it's emotional, physical, or in our you know, when it comes to our passion. Okay, so it's kind of like a lot of these cards, right? The cups, the pentacles, the wands, and the swords all can affect one another. Okay, So I wanted to call light to that. So the Knight of Swords here is, again, representing a specific individual who contributed to society in the time frame of 1469 to 1527. And the person here is Niccolo Machiavelli. So he is a very famous writer. Machiavelli was a diplomat, military and political strategist, and a writer. Born in Florence during the Italian Renaissance, his best-known work, The Prince, is a landmark treatise on political philosophy. In it, he describes the best ways to obtain a kingdom and maintain political power. Machiavelli argues that the end justifies the means, so that's a famous saying. Bad actions are excused if the result is good. He accepts and even encourages unethical behavior if it effectively leads to a good or virtuous goal. Okay, let's go back a second. A good or virtuous goal, okay? The term Machiavellian is defined as cunning, scheming, dishonest, and unscrupulous, especially in politics or in advancing one's career. Many see Machiavelli as a proponent of tyranny, immortality, and cynicism. Others view him as a realist and believe The Prince reflects the unstable political situation of the 16th century in Italy. Either way, Machiavelli was and still considered a political genius, okay? So the angelic message with this card is embrace your courage, be authentic, show who you are, and say what you believe. So it's like standing up for your beliefs, okay, and your truth, right? So some of the symbology here is he's wearing like a red cloak, if you will, a robe, which represents like intellectual passion, because red is passion, typically when you're seeing that. But, you know, because it's on the Swords card, it's representing like the intellect, the mind. The book he's holding is acquiring knowledge and learning how to think in an advanced way. So, you know, furthering your beliefs, your understanding, your intellect. The knife on the table, because its tip is a bit rounded, this knife represents speaking bluntly. However, because it's a knife, it can still be cutting, okay? So again, reminding that like your words can affect the outcome of something. So maybe be aware of how you present something. Angel and sword. An angel is God's representative, and a sword stands for thought. Together, this symbolizes righteousness, the sense that one's position is morally right and justifiable. So when you're seeing the Knight of Swords, the direct meaning here is gaining knowledge and forming one's own educated opinions, like unbiased, okay? Blunt, direct, and being outspoken. Convincing, persuasive, and clever, as well as confident in the truth and logic of one's ideas and beliefs, no matter how unusual or extreme. So if this was kind of in reverse or in a side position, this could be someone who is using their intellect in a way to maybe come off snobbish or better than someone else. Maybe someone who is sarcastic, very inflexible with their opinions, maybe rigid thought, as well as like hurting others with their words. Okay, this also can be lying, slandering, or defaming one's character. As well as maybe through debate being unfair or unjust. So again, embrace your courage, be authentic, and show who you are and say what you believe, okay? So that is the Knight of Swords. Okay, next characters up is the Knight of Pentacles. So William Caxton existed in 1422 to 1491. And William Caxton was an English merchant, translator, publisher, and a printer. He apprenticed to be a merchant as a teen, and as a young man moved to Bruges, a leading center of the wool and textile trade. Caxton thrived and became a prominent member of the English merchant community based in the area. As the years passed, he became involved in the emerging book trade and recognized the commercial viability of publishing. At age 48, Caxton learned how to print and subsequently set up his own press, producing the first book ever to be printed in English. He published over 100 books. 26 of them were works he translated himself. Caxton's product was in demand, and his printing business turned out to be a great success. Wow, very prominent development there. So the message here is keep your eyes on the prize and keep on working until you get it, right? Don't give up. So there's money on this table in front of him, and this is representing doing business, okay? There's also a ledger book. So this is representing a record of business transactions that represents being accountable for one's actions, both financially and personally. The ledger also conveys the notion that all of a person's past actions add up and make the situation what it is today, as well as the angel moves. There's an angel being represented here. The angel moves the energy of a pentacle into Caxton's ledger, suggesting momentum and realized success. So there's incoming energy, right, that is helping to grow what's already been invested in something, okay? So, when you're seeing the Knight of Pentacles, some of the direct meanings here would be establishing a career, a professional success, the ability to reinvent oneself, building upon one's experience, gaining both breadth of knowledge and breadth of expertise, determining what needs to be done to begin a venture. So maybe like the research, the investment, the specialized training, understanding the tools and techniques needed, and building the enterprise, right? With hard work, patience, confidence, and the commitment it takes, and ultimately gaining that success. So if this was in reverse, then, maybe there's too much focus on a career and neglecting other aspects of one's life. So, kind of being unbalanced. Actions guided by self-interest, like little interest in the benefit of others. So really kind of greedy and not really caring about how that might impact other people. And then also someone who might be like dissatisfied with what they're currently doing, or maybe restless, or maybe not really managing the aspects of the business in a way that is successful or profitable or ethically sound. Okay, so that would be the Knight of Pentacles. And Pentacles, let's just go over what this suit means. It represents the element of earth, but it's really about the physical reality. It's solid, it's tangible, it's things that you could see and touch with your hands. Concerns of everyday living, the pragmatism, money, work, health, and residence. And some of the hint words, that kind of come to mind for me are things that are solid, things that are down to earth, things that are grounded, okay, when we're talking about the pentacle energy. Okay, and then the next gentleman we are talking about here is the Knight of Wands, who's on a horse. And in this deck, he's the only one being represented in motion, okay? And so let's get into that a little bit. Yeah, so the person that they're highlighting here is someone who was an explorer. Okay, so let's see what this message is first. Excuse me. May your journey be filled with purpose and energy. Keep in mind that I'm here to help guide you so that you never stray too far from your intended path. All right. So the gentleman they're focusing on here is Samuel de Champlain. He existed in 1574 to 1635. Samuel was a French navigator, explorer, and cartographer. As a child, he accompanied his father and uncle, both mariners, there's that boat in the background, on various voyages. As a young man, he first went to the New World as a member of the Spanish fleet and later, 1603, joined an expedition to explore the French-held lands in North America. In 1608, Champlain established the French settlement that is now Quebec City. He was the first European to explore and describe the Great Lakes, and subsequently mapped much of eastern Canada and the northeastern United States. In 1620, while on an expedition, he received an order from the French king to return to Quebec and supervise the French territories. Champlain established forts and trading companies and oversaw the growth of New France. During his travels as a de facto governor, he formed relationships with various native tribes and agreed to provide assistance in their wars against their Iroquois. Champlain published his maps and wrote about his voyages, expeditions, and interactions with the native people and the French living among them. He is known as the father of New France. Wow, very fascinating. So first and foremost, there's this big horse, okay? And it's a white horse, okay? And so the horse is representing strength, endurance, and the means to accomplish a goal, right? It's like on pursuit or in pursuit. The ship in the background there, okay, it looks like a colonial ship. So it doesn't have to be colonial. I don't know. It reminds me of the Mayflower. In the time of Champlain, ships like these were used to explore the New World. Here, the ship represents movement towards the next goal or discovery. There's an angel also that is holding a compass. And so the angel is representing supporting guidance that may be accessed wherever is needed, right? And so the compass is to help one align with their intended path, right? That's the purpose of a compass. And so when you're seeing the Knight of Wands, the direct meaning here would be actively pursuing a goal, new experiences and adventure, staking a claim in the world, going after your dreams, determination and sustained energy, since this horse is in motion, right? It's not standing, it's not resting, it's in motion, and it's in a certain direction, which is forward. Okay, and so is the wand. The wand is also representing a forward motion. Okay, so if this was in a reverse situation, some of the meanings here would be constantly moving but getting nowhere, right? Because it's lacking a clear direction. It may not be also on the intended path. So there might be things that need to be worked out in order for there to be that forward movement. It also can represent like restlessness, like not able to sit still or be with one's thoughts, as well as like losing energy after maybe a fast start. So kind of something that's fizzled out. And then also what I feel like this represents in reverse is, you know, trying to make things happen without like any kind of solid plan. So again, make your journey be filled with purpose. May your journey be filled with purpose and energy. Keep in mind that I'm here to help guide you, which is represented by that angel, so that you never stray from your intended path. Okay, so wands from a suit perspective represent fire, okay? Energy, action, ambition, motivation, and taking on challenges while still moving forward, okay? Which is definitely being represented in this card, right? Like taking on the challenges regardless of what they are and still moving forward because you have clear goals, okay? As well as inspiration, creative spark, and that motivating energy. And so some of the words that kind of come to mind as well here would be fast, moving, energetic, and something that's passionate or heated. So those are the knights of the different suits here. We have cups represented, swords, pentacles, wands. So cups represent water, swords represent air, pentacles represent earth, and wands represent fire. Okay? If you like the content, feel free to like, share, and I'll see you on the next one.